You're fine.
My eulogy speech I'm going to be talking about my grandpa. I know this is strange, but we called him Nanny. My older sister could not talk, and she called my grandmother Bamer and my grandpa Nanny. The first memories of the childhood, and they have always stuck with us. He was known as Nanny the whole time he was living. He was my hero. Grandparents died before I was born, so my dad's parents are the only grandparents we ever known. We would always go on beach trips, and we would spend time in the garden and long summer days at their house, and he would always show us the trick of the trade. Favorite memories are the beach trip and getting him to take us to ride somewhere or play mini golf and twisting his leg to give us extra candy. He was always wanting to make us happy, and he would do everything he could. We would spend long days of shucking corn in the garden and him showing us how to plant right. My grandpa, which I consider my hero, has the great qualities that I will look in a man one day. He was God-loving, he loved my grandma, and he was a hard worker. He was the hardest worker I knew. He was a farmer, and he had chicken houses, and every day he would wake up at 5 and wouldn't go to bed till 10 o'clock worrying about those chickens. We also had cows where we would always go and ride around and make sure they were eating and making sure there weren't new babies born. So he was always a hard worker, and I knew he would always be one. The qualities that I cherish the most from my grandpa is how he always put my grandmother first. I think that's so important because being Christians, we're supposed to honor and love each other, and he showed us that with my grandma, and he did everything he could for her, and she did the same for him. My grandpa was always stressed out from the chickens and the cows, and so one day his body had had enough and he had had a stroke. The stroke left his left side of his body numb, and his speech was completely gone. He had to relearn how to talk and relearn how to walk. This was hard on all of us and hard on my grandma. I was still pretty young, so growing up it was all I'd ever known, and we would try our hardest to help him. He recovered from his stroke. It takes a toll on your body, and so there was many trips to the hospital, in and out, in and out. We were always there to support my grandpa. When my grandmother broke her leg, he was always there for her. She was his life, and she did everything she could to help him. And so the many trips to the hospital put a toll on her, but she was always strong. And that was part of him getting more sick and led up to his death. Grandpa, being the hard worker he is, did not want to give up on life. He was laid in the hospital, and the last thing he said was, "I don't want to leave y'all." Those words have stuck with me forever, but I know I'll see him again one day. Goodbye to my grandpa has been one of the hardest things I'll ever have to do. Even though living through his memories and talk about them have always helped. He's always had high dreams for us to go to college and be happy and make something of ourselves, and I've carried along his hard work and his dreams for us through everything that I've done. I will always think of him when I'm in school and finish and be a hard worker, and I know that one day when I finally get my degree that he'll be up there smiling and waving at us, and just reliving my dreams through him is one of the main things that we want to do, and keep his memories alive, and I know I'll see him again one day. Thank you.